Hello everybody, today I bring you a blast from the past, the Pontiac GTO, the Judge version of 1969. This right here is made by Motormax. It's a scale 1/18 of course, and the first impression of this vehicle, pretty well detailed throughout the car, although it has its flaws, as pretty much every budget car does, being around $25. And I'll go through those as usual. So first off, this is perhaps the heaviest model I have ever come across, even rivaling the gigantic Cadillac Escalade that I have. So it definitely is pretty substantial. It's all metal, as you would expect, minus the interior pieces, of course, which is very impressive because you don't see that so often. Typically, some of the more recent cars have been very, very light because they're mostly plastic, including some of the exterior parts, which is concerning. Okay, so let's get started here on this 69 Judge. So we have that GTO logo there, and for whatever reason it has an Ontario plate, which is in Canada. This thing would not do well in Canada, considering there's a lot of snow during the winter, and this is rear-wheel drive. Now underneath, I'm gonna go to this first because you can immediately see that there's some pretty good detail, but this is kind of a symbol of what the rest of the car is like. Good detail, not too much color though, so it's like they go about halfway there and they're good. But you know what, I'd prefer the detail over the coloring because that can actually be done, you know, if you felt like doing it yourself. But everything is raised from the platform of the car. You can see the differentials up. The bolts around the differential are very, very clear. The exhaust system, the engine is visible along with the transmission. Very, very thin wheels. I imagine that improves traction really well. And that was sarcastic, by the way, if you didn't pick that up. And there's that Motormax label. I'm not sure if this car is still being sold. Probably not. It's pretty old. Most of the Motormaxes are actually gone by now. And you can tell this car is so old just by looking at some of the chrome detailing around the wheel wells. See, it's pretty much worn away. It's very, very fine detailing. Would have looked really good had it not faded away. But sadly, that is the case. And you also notice, like on the chrome bumpers here, it's showing fingerprints and starting to look pretty worn, as per usual, really. There's that trunk, pretty good sized. Got the spare tire in there that won't come out, but you can see there's even a little bit of chrome up here, but again, also starting to fade away. It's got the spoiler with that iconic Judge logo. Looks like it's straight out of the 60s and 70s. Very, very classic, along with that nice pinstripe that goes down the vehicle. The color is impressive. The paint quality is impressive. The metalwork, decent, but not the greatest. And the real areas where you notice it is in the gaps, because this hood does not necessarily close all the way. You can see there's a big, huge gap back here. All around, whereas this is flush against here. This is not. You can see that from there, and it's even worse when you get to the back. You see, look at that thing. You could stick a penny through that without a problem. But I suppose in the older Motormax cars, that's definitely forgivable. It does feature suspension, although you really can't tell it has it in the front. It's pretty weak. Wheels do turn with the steering wheel pretty smoothly, I might add. Let's get under the hood because, let's face it, this is a classic muscle car. It deserves to let that shine. That's what it's got for it. Kind of tough to get in there. There we are. Now usually here I would tell you the size of the engine. I did not do my research on this car, so I'm not totally familiar with it. But it looks like a small block, actually, just by looking at it in comparison to the rest of the car and the other models that I have. But Again, detail is there, coloring is lacking. That's usual, and it's not too bad. You can see this also has the Ram Air 5. You can see that where the air filter is. You know, that comes, the air goes in there directly into the air filter. Pretty good. Now, I believe this is actually a speedometer right here on the real car. There's no detail on the back, but it's kind of cool that they put it in there. Alright, so we've seen the engine, we've seen the trunk, we've seen the underbody. It's time to look at the interior. Doors open pretty nicely in Motormax fashion. I do like these door hinges because they look a lot more realistic than like some of the Maisto ones where there's a big huge beam that comes through it. The only issue is that when they do get weak, you can't close them again. So, whereas with the Maisto ones, you can just tighten them up. Nice door panel, looks very realistic, and even has some of the chrome on the inside of the car, which is pretty rare for a budget model. You don't typically find that, except for small pieces like we have the gear shift here. This is an automatic car, and you can see again buttons in place, no coloring. Same thing on the steering wheel. The seats look really, really nice. It's kind of a vinyl pattern as usual, with the Pontiac logo right back there. It's just an outline of it, but you can see like as if someone sat in it. It's like a depression, but not a bad interior. It's about 3/4 of the way there. Add some coloring, it'd be great. Nice wheels, pretty accurate to the day. Chrome's starting to wear though. Too bad. You can see it's a little dirty on the top, but generally pretty impressive. I mean, if you can still find these cars, which every once in a while you'll find them on eBay, it's pretty good. It's definitely not the best budget model that there is, but for a Pontiac GTO Judge, if you're looking for this particular car, it'll definitely suit your needs. It looks pretty good. The orange paint looks great on it. The decals also look pretty good. Some shortcomings, but generally I would recommend it, considering that it's so old and hard to find. Alright, so I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.